Welcome to one more episode of Integrated Development Environment. In this episode, let us understand about how to download and set up Eclipse IDE, and we'll understand about the basic list of features in the Eclipse IDE by using the same set of programs as we discussed in the previous episode. We'll be looking at the text editor, code intelligence, code compilation, documentation, code execution, code debugging features that are embedded as part of Eclipse IDE. Let us look at how to download and set up Eclipse IDE. I will download Eclipse IDE for Enterprise Java. This package includes Eclipse Java Development Tools, Eclipse J2E Developer Tools, and other important features. I am downloading the 64-bit version of Eclipse IDE. Here is the installer that we have downloaded. Using this installer, let us look at how to set up Eclipse IDE on this system. The Eclipse installer is being launched. Let us use the Eclipse IDE for Enterprise Java developers. We want to install this Eclipse in a different location than the default location that is shown here. Click on Browse. This is the installation location that I am selecting to set up Eclipse on my machine. And click on Install. Read to the end user agreement, accept the agreement, and click on Install. As you can see, the installation is in progress now. The installation would take different times for each of us based on the network bandwidth and other factors. Make sure you are connected to internet while installing this Eclipse, as during installation it will download some plugins and packages. Also make sure you have a Java installed on the system before you try installing the Eclipse. In my case, I have Java installed at this current location that is shown here. Accept the content. The Eclipse installation is completed. Click on Launch to launch the Eclipse. Here is how the Eclipse is being launched. When you are launching Eclipse, it would ask you to provide a folder that you want to use as a workspace. All the projects that you create from that Eclipse installation would go into the folder that you select as a workspace. I am selecting this folder as a workspace and click on Select Folder and click on Launch. The Eclipse IDE is being launched now with the selected folder as the workspace. This is how the Eclipse IDE got launched. And this is the welcome screen that you see as you launch the Eclipse IDE. So this is the perspective that you will see when you launch the Eclipse IDE. Each of these windows that you are seeing here, Project Explorer, Markers, Properties, Servers, Snippets, Outline, etc. Each of this window is called as a view. A set of views makes up a perspective. You can switch between the perspectives by using the window perspective, open perspective capability. So you can switch to Java perspective. So this is the Java perspective of the Eclipse IDE. You can switch to debugging perspective, where the windows related to the debugging are shown. Let's switch to the Java perspective now. While we are in the Java perspective, let us try to create the two programs that we have done in the earlier episodes, the Hello World program and the File Reader program. While we are writing those programs, we'll look at the basic features of this IDE. Let's create a new Java project by using this option. Give the name for the project. As we give the name for the project, if you look at the other options that are given here, you are selecting the runtime environment, wherein you are telling the IDE using which Java environment you want to execute this program. Click on next. And this will be the folder structure that will be created for your project. Hello World is the project name. SRC is the folder inside which all the classes that you create will get created. Click on finish and let the project get created. So this is the basic structure of the project, which shows SRC as the source folder and JRE library that is included as part of this project's build path. Let's create a new class. Let's give the name of the class as Hello World. If you can see, this class is being extended from the superclass java.lang.object. And if we want to have a main method inside this class, just by checking this checkbox, it will automatically create the main method for us instead of manually writing this main method inside this class. Click on finish. If you look at the program now, the class structure is automatically created for us. Wherein in the previous episode we have seen we had to manually create this class, and there were several mistakes that we have done while writing these few lines of code. So this is the text editor capability, wherein we are able to write the code within the IDE, and some part of the code is automatically generated for us, so that as a developer, while writing the code, we'll be making less mistakes. As you can see, when I type something, system dot, it is able to see all the methods and APIs which are there in the system package that I can invoke. This is the code intelligence capability, using which we'll be able to select which API or method that we want to use instead of manually typing the code and getting into doing some mistakes. Here I have purposefully removed the semicolon at the end of the line to show that how the inline syntax checking will work. So here the syntax checking is being kicked in, and the IDE is showing that the syntax error which we have made while we are writing the code. In the previous case, we have seen how it was being done at the compile time. So this is how the inline code compilation and syntax checking is being done inside the IDE. Let's say we made a mistake while writing some line of code. Instead of system, if we have given some incorrect name, immediately it shows an error. System cannot be resolved, so that the developer can check the errors and correct them as he is writing the code. Now let's see how we can compile this code and execute it without leaving the IDE. Right click on the class that you have created, and we can say run as Java application. When I use this option of run as Java application, so the class that you have written is being compiled and the compiled code is being executed. So here is how you will be able to see the output of the code that you have written. So the compiling and the execution part is embedded into the IDE. Let's create the other project to read a file. I'm creating another Java project. Selecting the runtime environment, click on next and click on finish. So this is the second project that we have created. Let me close the hello world class that we have created in the previous project, and let's create a new class under this project. I want to have the main method inside the new class that I am creating. So select this option and click on finish. So the class got generated. So inside this generated class, now we want to write the logic to read the file and print it to the console. As we can see here, as we write this line of code, it is showing the errors saying that the file package is not being imported as part of this project. It is also suggesting us to use this import. When I click on this option, it automatically adds an import for me. So this is one more capability of IDE wherein it's showing the unimported packages and making us to import so that we can avoid the compilation errors at the later point of time. If we see here, it's also showing a warning saying that the local variable file is not being used yet. Now that we have used the file object in this line of code, so the warning is now suppressed, and now it shows an error that the scanner object is not detected. So we will have to import the scanner from the java.util package. So selecting this option, it will automatically import the package for us. And now it shows another warning that there is an exception handling that we have to do. With this warning, so we can add the throws declaration to the main method. Just by clicking add throws declaration, it adds the throws file not exception to the main method, and without manually typing this, the IDE is able to detect the errors and warnings, and it is also suggesting the right way of doing things. When I say scanner dot, it shows all the APIs that are available inside the scanner class that we can invoke here. And if we see here, it also shows an inline documentation for each API. let's say we are interested in has next line API. Here we'll be able to see what are the input parameters for this API, what is the return type of this API, and whether it throws any exceptions. All the documentation of the API, the minimum documentation is shown here. So this is how we'll be able to search for the APIs that are available in each class and the object of the class, and using the code IntelliSense we'll be able to select the API that we want to use, and the IDE will write the code for us. So now that we have written this code, let's see how to compile and run this code. Right click, run as Java application. If we see here, without any compilation errors, we are able to compile the code and run the code, and this is how the contents of the file that we are reading are able to be printed to the console. So this is how we can use the Eclipse IDE and its basic features to achieve writing the code and implementing the logic that we want to write. So in this episode, we understood about how do we download and install Eclipse IDE on our machines, and the basic features that are available inside the Eclipse IDE, like the text editor, which enables us to write the code, Code IntelliSense, which enables the developers to auto-populate the code and suggest which APIs and methods are available, so that using those auto suggestions we can complete the code. Code compilation and execution. So without leaving the Eclipse IDE, we'll be able to compile the code and execute it within the Eclipse IDE. And we have also seen how there is a documentation available for each API that we are trying to consume inside our code. Code debugging, we have not yet seen this feature. We'll be looking at this code debugging using Eclipse IDE in the future episode. Thank you.